I just want to do a quick take on Peraso Inc. The ticker symbol for Peraso Inc. is PRSO. So this company uh, engages in the development of high performance 5G wave wireless technology. They also offer chipsets, modules, software, and IP infrastructure. Um, so PRSO, from what I can tell, their stock movement heavily correlates with SMH. SMH is the semiconductor ETF, a very popular semiconductor ETF. So the pink line here is PRSO, which I have highlighted right here. Then these candlesticks represent SMH, the semiconductor ETF, on a 4-hour time frame. So you can see that PRSO's chart movement kind of correlates with that of the semiconductors. So PRSO is currently trading at $1.05. $1.05. So my analysis of PRSO is that I think it's going to be a pretty big pump and dump opportunity that can make a lot of money. I actually have a good amount of money invested in this play. Semiconductors have been going on a rampage this year, and PRSO is one of the few semiconductor based plays left that has not ran. I also think Intel, INTC, which they also make, they actually make chips, semiconductor chips. Also think that Intel is going to catch up and make a big move as well in the semiconductor space. But going back to PRSO, doing my research on this stock, I've seen that PRSO is being heavily manipulated by vulture funds. So vulture funds are hedge funds that go after debt-ridden companies or companies that are low on cash, and they will do pump and dump schemes with these companies in order to make themselves profits while also making profits for the board members of these companies before they either get acquired or they just go completely insolvent or they just pretty much delist or go to zero. So PRSO is definitely a risky play, but I've done my research on vulture funds over the last 7 years, and I understand some of the tactics and mind games that they play with retail traders in order to make profits. And semiconductors have been going crazy, but PRSO has really done nothing. It's just been consolidating over the last year and a half. Yeah, about a year and a half. So, in my opinion, this is a laggard. A lot of catching up to do. It may be one of the last semiconductors to run, or one of the last semiconductor-based plays to run in the space. But if there's an opportunity to make a lot of money, then I'm gonna seize that opportunity. So as far as I know, these vulture funds have warrants at $1.65. So around this area here, where I have my cursor, they have, and you can see we kind of resisted this 160 range, which I think is because of these vulture funds having warrants at $1.65, and they don't want to let the stock run yet. And PRSO does have a S3 filing out for offering stock or issuing out stock. So the underwriter of that S3 filing, Ladenburg Thalmann, they're based in New York. So here's their website if you want to go look at what they do. Ladenburg Thalmann, the underwriter of the S3 filing, has warrants at $2.65. So I believe that the vulture funds and the underwriter, Ladenburg Thalmann, are going to want to make good profits, and they're going to need PRSO to pump to a pretty good level for them to make good money on this stock. And you can kind of see that these moving averages here are kind of collapsing on those two warrant prices that I uh, that I noted. So you have a set of warrants at $1.65. You have this moving average kind of approaching that, and then you have warrants at $2.65, and this moving average is approaching that. So is that a coincidence? I don't know, but it's just kind of odd, and to me, it's kind of funny how all this stuff lines up. But so what I expect to happen for PRSO, um, I think that PRSO is going to either make a big pump at some point in July or maybe the first week of August. So those warrants that I explained expire on August the 5th. The warrants have been extended about 3 or 4 times now. So the Peraso has been just extending the expiration date of the warrants multiple times. And in my opinion, you're not doing that unless there's an event that you're looking forward to where you can pump this stock and make good prices and make good money over these warrant prices. So if these vulture funds didn't really care about this company, they would just let those warrants expire. Why are you extending warrants so much if there's nothing to be expected, or if there's nothing to be foreseen in the future? If there wasn't anything to be foreseen in the future, then you would just let those warrants expire. So the fact that they keep extending warrants leads me to believe that something big is going to happen. So I'm hoping that by August 5th, PRSO will make a big move. But if it doesn't by then we'll just have to wait. But ultimately, I do think PRSO is going to make a huge move. They're in the semiconductor space. I just think that them being a small cap, they might be one of the last to run. And small caps are just starting to break out. So it's no surprise that it wouldn't be a surprise to see PRSO break out as small caps are breaking out as well. PRSO did get a acquisition offering from MobX Mobix Labs at $1.20. In my opinion, that news was put out to keep the stock pinned under $1.20 and to kind of shake out retail investors. Because if you think that this stock is going to get acquired at $1.20 and we're trading at $1.05, that's only what, 15% profits. So psychologically, a retail trader is not going to want to buy something like that if the upside is only $1.20. But I think vulture funds are preying on the psychology of retail traders, and they're putting out that news to keep this stock suppressed. I do not think PRSO is just going to go to $1.20 and quit. PRSO has an S3 filing out to issue out shares, and you have these vulture funds and underwriters that have warrants at higher prices than $1.05. So I do not see PRSO just getting acquired by Mobix Labs at $1.20 and calling it quits. I think you're going to get a pump, then you'll get the offering of shares, and then after the dump or the dilution, I think that's when you'll see PRSO come out with the news of either being acquired, or maybe they just get delisted, or maybe they just continue to get shorted to hell and they do a reverse split and they just keep playing the game over and over again. But I think a move is coming on PRSO before any news events come out that could potentially take the stock back down after the pump. So PRSO also issued out a newsletter stating that they are looking for strategic alternatives to raise money and raise capital. in order to continue their operations for the rest of the year. So with that filing out, they can pump their stock, issue out shares, collect the money that they need to continue operations, and then the stock will ultimately dump due to the dilution of those newly issued shares. So I think they're going to raise money by doing a pump and dump scheme. And then after that, who knows? But my price targets for PRSO, conservatively speaking, I think is going to be $3 to $4, just because that's above the two warrant prices, $1.65 and $2.65. So I think $3 to $4 is very conservative price target for PRSO in the near term. You can see that we have a gap here from $3.90 all the way up to about $4.20. So I think we'll at least fill that gap to $4. So three to $4 is conservative price target. And then my max target for me would be about $5 to $6, because you can see that there's a lot of wicks here in this range, and then you have like this little teeny gap here at the $6 level. So I think $5 to $6, $5 to $6.50 is a max price target to have for me. But since semiconductors have been going crazy, it would not surprise me if PRSO went as high as $8 to $12, $8 to $10. Could just really make a big giant move, just due to the fact of semiconductors running so hard, and the sentiment behind semiconductors. And then PRSO is in a space where they can get a lot of government contracts and could have a lot of momentum. So just like the rumors and the sentiment behind that could get PRSO to make a giant move. But I do think you'll have to possibly suffer through a little bit more manipulation on this stock to get there. Looking at this weekly chart, we might dump back to 90 cents just to shake out the tree. They vulture funds might try to shake the tree just a little more to get people to sell out of this thing. So 90 cents, we might be coming back to 90 cents, and then after that, we wrap back around and go on a pump. But I'm very confident in PRSO making a pump. I just think vulture funds are preying on the loose psychology of retail traders. But I've been studying vulture funds for 7 years. I understand the name of the game and the tactics and tricks that they use to try to scare retail traders off out of some of these stocks. So I just wanted to give a briefing on PRSO and my expectations of what it can do. This stock is very risky, so play at your own risk. It's a penny stock, so yeah, just understand all the risks that comes with playing penny stocks. But I am confident in this play, and I'm looking forward to it making a big move in the near future. Worst case scenario, by the end of the year. But I got a lot of money in this thing, and I have a lot of patience. So we'll see where things go.